No! I clicked the wrong one, guys.
All right.
Oh.
So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Yes, absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Yeah, we're sitting here with Loyalist. Just you, me, any Patreons that happen to be in. By the way, thanks so much for being a patron. I really, really appreciate that, and that's why we're doing this especially for you. Those of you that watch this the very next day, when this goes public, for regular YouTube viewers, you can join in. It's Patreon, $5 a month. It ain't nothing. It's like a Starbucks coffee. You're able to join in. Not only join in to the chat and stuff like that, but you could actually join in the show. I send the link about 15 minutes prior to going live. Not only just to actually the StreamYard link where you can join in right now. Now, Loyalist is not able to join via video, but he is able to join audio. What's going on, Loyalist? How was your day?
My day was pretty good up until, that is, I got back from training camp.
Yeah?
Yeah, that news about Carson, I was oblivious to it because, I got there this morning and got myself all set up to be able to watch everything nice and use my phone so I could record my notes and stuff, and I didn't even pay attention to Twitter or anything about what was going on after practice.
Yeah, I understand. I was up till like 6 in the morning doing stuff and fell asleep. Woke up at like 2, and you were like, "Did you see the news?" And I looked up, and it was like it just posted after the Reich presser, and I was like, "Oh my!" But it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I mean, we did that quick video stating, "Hey, you know what? I got burnt, but at the same time, I got burnt because I did exactly what the heck I was telling people not to do. So it's all good." But how was practice? What was some big things that you would notice from practice today?
First off, the weather was amazing. I'll tell you what, man. I got there at 8 o'clock this morning, and I was just like, man, it's like that. You ever remember when you were a kid going, like when you go on a camping trip or whatever, you getting ready to go fishing on the lake? That's what it was like, just walking in. The atmosphere, the weather was amazing. But as far as the football goes, the first thing I noticed was Big Q out there. Him and Danny Penner, they came out about 15, 20 minutes early, and they just started working together on stuff. And it was like, okay. You could just see that he was just sort of guiding them and giving them some advice and some pointers and stuff. I mean, you could see Danny was also saying, all right, well, he was giving, it was sort of a give and take conversation stuff. And I tell you what, it looked like it paid off real good because Danny had a really good, he would have been my player of the day for sure.
Really? Because according to Holder and a few other people, the offensive line didn't do very well today.
Well, whenever you're comparing it as a unit to the defensive line, I'd agree. But as far as individually and having a good day, like I said, I seen a lot from Danny today that definitely made me feel a lot better. It made me feel a lot better about our interior because between our interior depth, with him and Chris Reed, I was very pleased with a couple of those guys today. But yeah, as a whole, the defensive line, it was their day.
Okay. Did I hear something right about Nelson leaving practice early?
Yeah, you seen him walk off with the trainers, and I'll tell you right now, and it was like the last 15 minutes of practice or whatever. I'm getting tired of these late walk-offs with trainers. But yeah, he left, but like I said, it looked like he was walking. He's in some discomfort, but it didn't look like a whole lot of attention was being given to because he walked in on his own power.
So, in that aspect, there was a lot of backups playing today on the offensive line. It seems is that
Yes, they had a lot of backups, but they also were intermixing. You know what I mean? Seen Will Fries today bounce inside and outside. He had a better day than yesterday, but he really come on strong there at the end. At the end of whenever they went the best of when they go 7 on and then the lineman on the other field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a much better second portion of that, and it was sort of cool because there was a moment where like I said, Fries was just working. You could see it. He wasn't winning a lot, but he was working. And then all of a sudden, he had like 2 or 3 plays where he really, held his own and stuff. First guy over there was old Grover. He's, giving him a 5 and dabbing him up and just letting him know, you're getting it, Rook. Just keep working type of thing. And I was like, man, I love this team.
Right. So we had a lot of intermixing, a lot of backups in on the offensive line. The report was that Eason really didn't do very well today, and that Ellinger actually outshone him today. And if everything is accurate from what you're saying with the offensive line and the D-line doing well, that kind of makes sense, being that Ellinger is more of a guy who can move as opposed and throw just as, even though it's in my opinion, Ellinger hasn't shown much this training camp except for today from what I'm hearing, but it makes sense being that he had to move around. Eason doesn't move around very well and throw the football. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, I've got to put a disclaimer out there, man. I'm not as high on the Ellinger performance even of today or last week. You keep hearing these reports. I'm not seeing exactly how they're seeing. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. It's yes, Sam Ellinger had if you compare improvement to what he did last week and what he did today, Sam was most improved. But I still would say that Jacob Eason for me, and there was a you talk about he didn't have real good pocket awareness. There was this one, like I said, it was a jailbreak. I mean, it looked like everybody and a couple people off the sideline was coming at Eason. And you know what? He had this real pocket awareness. I mean, he was looking to his left, and then he just sort of shifted a little bit to his right and just tuck it and run and got 8-9 yards, got what he could and got out of bounds. And I was like, you know what? That was, for me, with what I was expecting from Jacob and stuff, that one play made me feel more intrigued than some of the passes that I saw Sam do.
Exactly. Yeah, really. That's amazing. Guys, if you are watching this, we're 8 minutes in. I don't see any patrons in right now. If you show up, say something in the chat. Say hello. And don't forget, you can join if you want. I sent you guys emails on Patreon to each and every one of you. So it shows where you can join and watch and join in the chat, or where you can specifically jump in here with us and discuss things. So please do so. Don't forget, smash the like button. All right, I know all of you that are watching right now are subscribed, but please smash the like button. Those of you that watch us tomorrow, hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that nifty stuff. I'd really, really appreciate it. I didn't get to go today, all right? I got hair in my mouth. Where the heck did that come from? That's weird. There, I got it. All right. That was weird. You ever have that happen to you? That's nasty. I was like, where the heck did that hair come from? My goodness.
Yeah. I think I shed my mustache hairs and my dog sheds hers.
I think it was, I don't know, it might have been a cat hair. Who knows? There's cat hair all over my house. I got 4 cats. Come on. But yeah, man, I blast. Had to do a little bit of backtracking today, but at the same time, had to stand my course too, because, I tell it how I see it, no matter what. And you do it the same thing, and I'm not going to I'm not going to apologize for that. If I'm wrong, I'll own that I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm going to hang my hat on it. It is what it is. But at least you get honest and true from me. You know, both of us. We're going to give it to you honest and true every time. And we're not going to just pile on whatever anyone else is saying. Did you get much look at the cornerbacks, the defensive backs today?
Today, I mean, there wasn't really for me a lot flashed. A lot of short check down passes and stuff today. I saw a lot from the running backs and stuff. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Yeah, like I said, there was a couple. Pittman went up and mossed a guy, and couldn't even 47. I don't even remember.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony Chelsea. He went up over top of him. But yeah, nothing that I can, nothing that stood out. I mean, there was a cool play where, excuse me, who was it? Oh, Kylan Granson. He catches the ball about 7 yards short of the goal line. And Carl, I mean, he catches it, and Ari just starts grabbing it, and they start wrestling. And these two guys, it was like, you're not getting this, easy one. And they sat there and were wrestling back and forth. And then it ends up in the end zone. Granson kept out hold of it, by the way. And it was just cool because Carl and him got up and went, all right, good job, Rook. And, and went back to work.
Yeah. What's up, Matt Stansberry? Appreciate you being in here. He says, I'm looking fit and tan today. I've gotten more sun in the last week than I've had in the last 2 years. Okay? I mean, all put together. So this is new for me. I'm going to get darker and darker and darker. You'll see. Especially
you see with my picture, I'm looking a little bit thinner too.
Yeah, we get to get out. Well, especially when we have to walk 4 miles to get to the practice field from where we park. That's kind of what happened on Saturday.
That wasn't happening today.
That was all my fault, though, because I was like, oh, well, we could leave now and then get there and a little late and blah. No, man, I didn't take into consideration the traffic jam that was State Road 31 and sitting there half an hour for an hour stretch of road, So we ended up in the worst possible parking spot there was, and I take the blame on that. But good on the Colts camp. Grand Park people that work out there, man, they are awesome. They gave us a golf cart ride all the way back. We didn't have to walk that whole way back, right?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yes. I'll tell you right now, there was one person sitting right next to you that was extremely happy about that golf cart ride yesterday.
No kidding. I don't doubt it. Stansbury says he'd take check downs all day if nothing is open and or under pressure. And that's something that I've noticed Eason has been doing while practicing is he has been taking the check downs. And it's weird because in college, Eason wasn't known for going through his progressions. He was known for staring down a guy and hitting him deep, knowing who he was going to and staying with him until it was that point in time. You're watching him now go through progressions, and if he ain't got time to get to the progressions and he's got pressure on him, he'll dump it off or take off with it, like you said just earlier, Those things are awesome, watching him do that. And that, to me, shows progress in and of itself of Jacob Eason. We know he can throw it deep. It's the going through the progressions thing that we was all worried about. That and the fact that, he needs to work on being able to throw while he's on the move.
Yeah, and that's something I noticed today. I was just like, okay, this guy can throw the ball anywhere at any point in time, okay? So I was more just watching, the timing of it and stuff. And that was something I've noticed that, a lot of his misses, it was like he was just like a half beat too late with getting the pass out. There was a couple times that he was trying to air it out where Morale Cox had pulled away from the defender, and then because he had that that half beat, like I said, the defender was able to get in, cover the distance, and then get his hand in on the pass. So it was like, man, if he could just see that just like a half second earlier. I mean, these incomplete passes easily go to complete passes.
And don't forget about this. Stansbury says he'll take a 5-yard dump off all day. Think about the running backs that he's got to dump that off to. I will take all 3 of those top 3 guys over anyone else out there one-on-one open field, right? I'll take Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, or Naheem Hines against any of the other linebackers out there that would be there trying to stop him or forbid a safety trying to stop Jonathan Taylor or something, in the open field. I'd take all those guys. If Eason or whoever's quarterback, he could hit them in front of him on a dump off so that he could hit him and get him to be moving forward at the same time, those guys could make some big yardage after the catch.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, that's like there at the end of the day, they went off 7-on-7s. And Eason, Ellinger, and Morton, all three of them hit the running backs on these out and ups. So, I mean, they weren't the little, 6-7 yard in the flat. I mean, these were, they break out, get to the sideline, cut up the field, and these were like 15, 20 yard. And, I mean, all 3 of them. Ellinger, that was one of the passes I was like, oh, okay. Because, we were talking, yesterday and really all week last week, the ball just sort of left his hand and it sort of floated through the air, Well, on this out and up, I mean, it was a tight rope. I mean, it was the first power throw that I'd seen Ellinger throw. You know what I mean? And Eason in reverse, he didn't overpower the throw. He had a nice touch on it. I mean, the ball got there quickly, but these were by far the best 3 throws in concessions. In consistent repetition, and it was a good thing. And just want to give a shout out to Darius Anderson and who else was that? The Duke running back. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. But anyhow, those 2 running
Deion
backs. Jackson, thank you. Those 2 running backs are also were making some nice catches out there today. So yes, we do have the 4 horsemen that we know that we have in the backfield, but there's some. I'll tell you what. There's some young Colts behind them that are, looking for their spot.
Yeah. What's funny is, I'm bringing in Belichick because he wants to flip me off. I just noticed he was in the stream. Can we take the flip off though? I don't mind the Belichick, but not flipping people off. If that's possible. Because this will be going live. I will be kicking it off on YouTube public, so I don't want to see that on there. When he comes back, I'll say something, but I know who that is, obviously. There he is! What's
Updated for you, buddy.
Huh?
Updated for you.
Yeah.
One of our guys found that at a carnival and posted it. I thought you'd get a laugh out of it.
That was pretty good. I liked it. It's just I can't have that obviously on my stream,
No, I didn't know you were going live with this, so no problem.
Well, I'm not going, but I'm not going live, but it'll go public, right? So
exactly.
I don't. Yeah. But thanks for joining, man. So here's the thing. Loyalist is sitting here talking about. And Stansbury is in here in the chat, and he's talking as well. And let me go ahead and make this a little easier. There we go. About the running backs and what they're doing and, the dump off and stuff like that. A lot of Colts fans were upset about, we don't have a number 1 wide receiver. We don't have a go-to wide receiver. If you could get production out of your running backs, 15, 20-yard plays on a consistent basis, I'll take that all day long.
Well, but here's the thing. They also don't need to get 15, 20 yards. The sticks are only 10 yards apart.
Exactly.
Dump passes. Tom Brady lived off those for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, don't fix it. Right?
You were back in the day when they used to send a running back through the snot like he was a blocker, and then he would cut right or cut left and take a little dinky pass. That's still 5 to 6 yards. 4 to 6 yards.
Two of those out of, and you're done. But here, if you're hitting people on these little short tight end or running backs on, right along the goal line, and they're picking up, first down yardage or something,
Yep.
sooner or later they're going to drop into a cover one, and then you're going to get a deep play action at some point. That's going to open things up. So
having more
win.
tricks in the bag is not a bad thing. I don't know what people are complaining about. It's like, if you have someone who's a Swiss Army knife, why use them in just one way? Or
Exactly.
you have an offense that can do more than one thing. That's going to help you so much, especially when you go up against teams like you start looking at Tampa Bay. You got to start throwing that bag of tricks around and start finding ways to make the other team uncomfortable.
Well, it's like, okay.
And if they
go ahead.
Oh, if they start blitzing and stuff, you want your running backs to punish them. You know what I mean? And okay, are they blocking, or are they going to go out and catch a little 3-yard pass and turn it into a 30-yard game?
Well,
yes.
Okay. Here, I'll tell you one specific game early in the season that having running backs that can do what they can do is going to pay off huge dividends. That's against the Rams.
Oh, yes.
Huge dividends. Because they got they have good guys that can cover wide receivers on the deep end. They got a defensive line. Their linebackers are trash. They can't cover running backs.
Yeah, and then it's just when you start using the running backs, and the Patriots have been using that pretty solidly for the last 4 years because we've been so. I'm not gonna say we've been dry at wide receiver, but it's like you can't throw to Edelman every time. So again, all of a sudden, people like White got a big shot out of the cannon. You got that other. Oh man, Ray's gonna kill me that I forgot these names, but whatever. All these little running backs, linebacker, like these guys who are like special teams, are all of a sudden become weapons on our offense, and it's great to see. I love the surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gunnar Olszewski, yes.
Gunnar, yeah, he's a big Gunnar guy. So Loyalist, who was someone that didn't like? I don't know. Was there anyone that you thought kind of had a down day today? I always want to know that.
Yeah, and man, I hate saying this one, but Tevy. I did not like what I saw today. I'll tell you right now. I saw it a little bit Saturday. I don't know if if Quiddy has a read on Tevy or what, but Tevy's got to see Quiddy lined up across from him. He's got to just drop his head like, not again. Quiddy, most of his flashes have been on Tevy, and I don't understand it because, like I said, there was one where Tevy had barely even come out of his stance, and Quiddy was already, 4 yards deep in the backfield. And I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Well, so you think that's a bad information or just got the play wrong? What's your thoughts on that? What do you think caused that?
Well, like I said, for me, it just looked like the last 2 days that the speed that Quiddy has been exploding off the line it's more than what Tevy's. He's one of them guys. He's more like, let me figure it out and react. You know what I mean? And these people that just are snapping off the line at him, he's not handling it well at all.
So when I talked about Sam Tevy, and I did his breakdown, and I was talking about him, I said his weakness was protecting the edge against speed rushers. I said that. I said he'll need a guy, a tight end or a running back or somebody, chip him inside, because once Tevy gets his hands on you, he's good. But if the guy beats Tevy around the edge, Tevy's done. He's cooked.
How does he handle contact? Like, generally, does he respond well to contact, like push-offs and everything like that? Or is he the type of guy who takes a light tap and he's completely thrown for a loop?
He's not thrown for a loop, but he's more of a like that momentum guy. You know, what I mean, he just sort of.
Yep.
I don't know how to explain it. It's not that he creates the momentum. It's just like he sort of absorbs it and goes with it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's what Quentin Nelson will do that against bigger, stronger guys who's got a running start on him. He'll absorb that momentum. You'll see him take 2 or 3 steps back, then straighten his back up to readjust himself and get his center. And that's what makes Quentin a really good, offensive lineman. But Stansbury does ask a question here. I was thinking the same thing when you were talking about it, Loyalist. Is that a testament to how good Kwity Paye is, or that, Tebby's just that bad? And I think it's a little of both, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree, because like I told you guys, I'm always going to shoot straight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to throw a whole bunch of flyers at a room. I mean, and it's shorts, and all this is great to see, but like I said, there's nothing here that I can say is one way or the other, because there's certain times, like, like I said, I sat there and watched Kwity take it to Tevy, and then Tevy turned around like second or third rotation later and just stoned Touré. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just sort of that ebb and flow, but like I said, for some reason, whenever Quity's there, it does seem like he has a little bit of his speed is just a little bit that Tevy needs to really, that's something I see he needs to work with.
Well, again, these camps, it's more kind of working on one-on-one stuff. They're not really scheming anything, right? They're not scheming against the defense and how they're lining up and stuff like that. So
starting good habits.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just working on individual stuff and making sure that you got all of your basic things worked out. And once you get into a game, once you get into preseason, you might start seeing, tight end help off the edge or something like that, or whatever it is that, when you know that a guy has a weak spot, you will go over there and help fix that weak spot. And you're going to lean to his strengths.
Yeah, and especially in these, these drills that I'm referring to, I mean, the guards weren't even double teamed. You know what I mean? Like you said, there was none even that, let alone bringing another tight end or something. So yeah, this was a mono type situation. I mean, it was like the center and everybody, they just sort of snapped the ball, popped off, and then whatever player was assigned to be the charge, that's, what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where,
But, like, man, when you're sitting there talking about jailbreak situations where, like, the entire defensive line is getting across the offensive line, we know our offensive line, for the most part, is solid all the way across, right? Between Braden Smith. Yep. But the problem is, like you said, there's no Ryan Kelly right now. Quentin Nelson got walked off the field early today. And, we don't have a starting necessary tackle. I'm thinking, if the defensive line has been playing that good still, that says a lot for the defensive line in general.
Yes.
That means that our worries about pass rush all off season might have been for naught.
Well, I'm assuming they're going to work on their weaknesses. And again, if any good coach, he's not going to look at the things where, like, we'll keep stuff up on the things we do well, but you're going to hammer home the things you do badly. Like, again, back in the day when I was a kid playing football, they didn't look at our good points. They looked at the bad points first and then doled out credit later.
Yeah.
I think it's very important right now, and what they've probably been doing in the offseason is to get that pass rush going, seeing fast guys on that line, break blocks, and start wreaking havoc in that backfield.
Joe!
Hey, Joe.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yep, late again, man.
Oh, it's all good. You're here. You're here. I sat down and watched you sitting there talking on one of your streams a while back, just kind of sitting back and chilling and talking once. So that was kind of cool. Welcome in. If everybody knows, this is Joe Thornburg. He's really awesome.
Thanks,
always in, man. I love your information, your input. You have a poignant view, and it's not always what it's like me. It's not always what everybody else thinks, right? And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But either way, I respect it because your opinion comes from something that you're seeing, and that's cool.
Well, that's just the whole thing. I mean, that was about the Aaron Rodgers issue.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to touch on your video that you posted about what they were doing the same thing with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
When they were just speculating, they were just throwing things out there and saying before they even knew what was wrong. That's the whole thing that they did with Aaron Rodgers all spring, all spring long. And some of it turned out to have a little bit of credibility to it, but most of it was BS. And so, I mean, for me, for my thinking, if you're going to go out there and you're going to talk about stuff, if you say this is my opinion, or this is what I think, or this is what we could be looking at, make sure you go ahead and qualify that instead of saying, oh, this is a fact. Like what Adam Schefter did on draft day. Like that was like way over the top. Way over the top. So, I mean, I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
Well, it's like dealing with the Boston media.
Yeah. Exactly. You guys have any questions on for Loyalist about what maybe he saw today while he was at camp?
What was the spirits like with the fans and everything? What was it like? Was everyone like pumped and excited, or were they all like charting down their stats as nerds like we are?
No, this was a back to school themed day, so they had a bunch of kids out there again, and they did the foam footballs after practice. So no, the energy was high. Everybody, I mean, it wasn't quite as crowded as Saturday, but like I said, it was the average age was a little less than you would normally expect on a normal training camp day.
Well, that's cool though, man. I love the fact that we're getting a lot of kids out there on training camp, whether it's Kids Day or back to school or something like that. It's kind of bringing in the next generation of fans, right? So that's really cool. And then going out and throwing these little things right here. I got one right here. Throwing out these little things signed by the player. They pick them up, they sign them, then they toss them out there, and that is cool as heck. This is from Kari Willis, right? Or not Kari Willis, sorry.
Kenny Moore.
Yeah. It's Kenny Moore. Well, it kind of looked like a W, right? When I first looked at it. But no, it's Kenny.
Like cursive. It's all right.
Yeah, but I should have seen the 23 and been like, well, that's Kenny Moore.
Yeah, something that was cool. I was like, whenever I first got there, I do this audio recording, and I just sort of put like my notes and everything in audio recording. And I got there at 8:00, and it was just sort of cool sitting there looking at an empty football field, and then people started piling in. Next thing I know, I've got approximately 15, 20 kids, all kids, like the next 3-4 rows up around me in the bleachers. I was just like, okay. But then just listening to them, hear them in the background, where's T.Y.? So I'd point them out to them or something or whatever. And it was just really cool how much these kids already know about, T.Y. and how, oh, yeah, he's back one more year with us and stuff. I mean, I'm telling you right now, social media is making these kids many general managers at the age of 10 and 11. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys. How annoying was it right after the news conference with Wentz? How many news sites exploded in saying how many different quarterbacks you guys should now pick up? It's like I looked up Colts news before I came on here. It is disgusting.
Oh my
It's
goodness!
not even 30 minutes later. Literally, they wrote a whole article.
They got fans all over the country thinking that Carson Wentz is done for the season and the Colts are out there shopping for a new quarterback.
Yeah, and then some of these things you hear, Gardner Minshew for DeForest Buckner, and
Garoppolo.
Just
They used to Garoppolo.
Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
kidding
there
me?
is some
Really?
strong Nick Foles stuff going out there right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I'm really
really?
12
That
articles
would be
already.
the worst thing that Ballard could do is bring Nick Foles in, right?
I literally have another screen going, and I'm looking at all the articles. I've counted up to 13 different articles on who you guys should pick up as a quarterback now.
Now, Law, hang on, Law.
Oh, go ahead.
Worst thing, I mean, Blaine Gabbert's on it too now.
I'd
So,
rather have
is
Blaine
really Nick
Gabbert.
Foles the worst?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'll tell you why. If
Okay.
you have
The
any
history.
plan to keep Wentz long term, don't bring
Yeah.
Nick Foles in. Because
Yeah.
that was the start of how things ended up turning out.
God.
And you don't want to have that kind of. I'm not saying that Nick Foles is going to take his job. I just don't want Wentz to have any kind of, is this what's going on? The same thing that happened in Philadelphia? Come
What do you
on.
thinking, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be
Well, let
so
me pose a
toxic in that locker room. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it would.
Now, let me pose a question to you guys. I'd
Ballard's
like all
smarter
three of
than
your opinions. Okay. What do you think is the best situation? And Joe, I'd like for you to answer first. Would you rather see them give Jacob his run and see where we're at in week 1 and week 2? Or would you rather them go and find, whatever Ballard rabbit he can pull out of a hat?
In terms of the QB situation specifically,
Yes,
I
sir.
think
Yeah,
give Eason-
and this is saying that we won't see Carson until week 3 or 4.
Well, give Eason a go. You know you've got the backfield. You know you've got the offensive line. And the best thing you can do with the offensive line that you have, having these question marks at quarterback and having the backfield that you do, which is insanely good, shorten games. That shortens games for your defense so that these younger guys who are still trying to find their kind of way in the pass rush, that keeps them fresh. So if your time of possession is 35, 37 minutes a game because you're pounding the rock, the defense is going to stay fresh and you're going to be teeing off on people late in games. So, give Easton a shot. Why not? Why would you want to bring – and then what's the guy going to want? What's a guy like Minshew going to want? How much money is he going to want? What's Foles going to want? You're going to bring these guys in on a league minimum 1-year deal? No. Not at the quarterback position. That's not going to happen. To that, before I let you hand it off, why wasn't this foot injury discussed with Wentz? Why wasn't this foot injury discussed back in March? Anyway, I digress.
I will say something to why I've heard that point of view, and I'll tell you right now, having a foot injury, I've had a bone removed from my foot, and I didn't know that I broke the foot. Okay, you've seen how big I am. I put my feet through stress already. All right. So, and the fact that I wasn't even aware that I had damaged the foot or anything, and like I said, I don't know. I'm not a professional quarterback. I'm not trying to say that, but what I am saying is I can understand that how an injury such as that. It feels like a pain or whatever, and then a day or two later, the sensation tones down, and you just sort of grow accustomed to it. And you don't even realize that it's a broken bone. You know what I mean?
From what I'm understanding,
It was an injury from high school.
in Reich's presser, he was saying it was a really, really old injury, and apparently didn't bring up any kind of pain or discomfort until just what was it, Thursday or Friday? And that's when it came up, and that's when they found out about it, when they went and did tests and stuff. So it's probably something they didn't even realize was an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's how I see it. I've got injuries that's happened in high school or, a year or two after high school, and I think that they're done and over with, and there's not any backlash for it. I assume Wentz didn't say anything because he probably was thought, well, this happened, 15 years ago. How is that going to come up with anything? But who knows, Maybe he did know. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe it's something that he dealt with prior.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. All I know is what Reich told us, and he said that it was something that was old, and it just dislodged, and that's when it was causing him the discomfort. So,
yeah, the article that I read on it was a floating bone. So what happens is that generally they don't do invasive surgery unless they have to. So at the end of the day, when he was probably in high school, they were like, "You chipped a bone. This is what happened. It's not affecting you right now." Unfortunately, when he became a professional, started playing for you guys, all of a sudden that bone comes to the surface. Lucky you guys, seriously. For me, I would ride with Wentz. I mean, he's already has a rapport with the team. Bring that backup kid, get him some real time in. Yeah, no, but you ride with Wentz. Don't bring in someone that's going to make him nervous about his job. You want him concentrating on being your future guy. Let Eason come in, do his thing. Again, show that he's the backup he can be. And then when Wentz is ready to return, bring him in. Because you don't want to start shifting the guard right when your offensive line starts getting a little bit comfortable. You know, you're just going to throw the rest of the offense for a loop.
Yeah.
So I agree with Joe here. The only thing is it stinks because floating bones is just one of those annoying things like a rotator cuff injury. Like, again, I'll have years of no problems. Then all of a sudden I can't do a bench press over 150 pounds. You know, I know it's not the exact same thing, but again, it's an example.
it's like sciatic, right? Sciatic. At we all might understand sciatic.
That's a good one to point
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a better one.
I've had to deal with, I'm 45 and I've had sciatic issues, you know, it comes and then after a few days it's gone and you're like, and then you're good for God only knows how long. And then all of a sudden it comes back again.
That's why I'm a picture of Jacob Eason because my back's crushing.
So for me, the timetable that they have given us is 5 to 12 weeks. 5 weeks. 5 weeks before the season even starts, right? 12 weeks, you're looking at what? Week 6, right? So he'll be back and starting by week 6 at the latest. Is from what we're gathering currently right now. Why would you want to bring in a guy who's going to want to have that starting job and keep it? He's not going to want to give it back up to Wentz. And you're going to end up paying, like Joe was talking about, you're not giving him veteran minimum, you know? And plus you're going to be,
like
and
if
we're talking about Foles or Minshew, or we have to trade for him, you know, what's that going to cost us?
Yeah.
You know? And we're already short a first or a second over Wentz. I mean, come on.
What we would do to Wentz if you brought in Nick Foles.
Oh,
like,
my
again,
goodness.
I know the relationship between them isn't bad, but you remember the last time around Nick Foles got brought behind Carson Wentz? That's not a history thing you want your organization to deal with.
As Colts fans, we have been trashing on Philly media because of the whole situation that went down there. And then if we bring Foles in, it could happen here. And I don't want to deal with that.
And also, Foles is not a good starting quarterback. Foles is somebody that you bring in the third or fourth quarter to, or for a game. I mean, you don't bring him
his whole career.
I know,
Well, yeah.
and that's why.
I
sit there and and I think that this year I sit here and I'm like, okay, if you bring somebody in, now you've got, for lack of a better comparison, you've got 2017 Jacoby Brissett. If we stay with Jacob Eason and see what we got with him and stuff, we're already starting basically a 2018 Jacoby Brissett. You know what I mean? He's familiar with the offense. He's got the arm talent. Now all he has to do is get the timing and get the courage or, get the bravery to, to throw in these tight windows. I mean, and that's, I think, is where we lost Jacoby is, he had the God-given talent. He just never made those connections unless he was already throwing 3 guys off his back.
Yeah, and running out of the end zone.
Yeah. Thank you, T-Roy.
Yeah, right.
But do you guys have faith in Eason? Like, do you think he can hold up the team for 3 or 4 weeks?
I think this. I think Eason. Okay,
Eason,
you
thank
guys.
you. I said Eason.
Yeah, but I think Eason. I looked at first 3 weeks, okay, and I said we go 1-2. I predicted we'd win Seattle, lose LA in first game against Tennessee. I think with Eason, we still go 1-2. I don't think we lose to Seattle because I think our running game and just like I said, everything that Eason has shown to be good with tight ends, with the running backs, I think that is enough that we can beat Seattle. Now, do I think that we're going to go out and do I think that we're going to be able to keep it close with LA? No, I don't think that. And do I? The one that worries me is the Tennessee game. That's the one where I'm like, man, does that swing the pendulum to make it from a win to a loss?
Well, really, the Tennessee game is kind of on a fence for me now with the Julio news. I don't know what's going on with Julio Jones, because he's facing federal charges right now. So we'll see. I know that they got a pretty impressive offense, but their defense, they got to prove to me their defense is worth more than a nickel to a dollar. I mean, that's what it is. And currently, I like our offense against their defense more than I like their offense against our defense, because I think our defense is actually pretty darn good, especially from what we've seen early in camp. Our defense has been playing stellar lights out this camp. And I think, like I said, I think that's more on the defense than it is on, that's more saying good on the defense than bad on the offense, personally. But I like Eason from what I've seen so far. I think that he's progressing well over this first week. And I think he still has work to do, especially like I've said, him moving around in the pocket and throwing while on the move still, from my own eyes worries me a little bit. But you saying that, he took that jailbreak that you saw today, he took a jailbreak on him and then tucked it in and ran right through it and picked up 8-9 yards. If he could do that, I'm fine with that. That's something. But I love Eason's arm, man. I love the fact that he can literally place the ball anywhere on the field at any given time, from any point. So I'd rather just ride with him and see. Now, obviously, if we're getting close to the first preseason game and he's looking like Mark Sanchez, then I think we might want to go somewhere else. But I'm not expecting that yet. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I would not like to see a butt fumble myself. But I mean, I think a lot of what it boils down to. I mean, we talked about this the other day, kind of in chat, where. If he gets more first-team reps with these guys, particularly T.Y., as you pointed out earlier on, develop chemistry. I mean, when you have a guy who's an embedded starting quarterback, they're going to get the lion's share of the first-team reps. They're not going to work out, particularly when it comes to veterans. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be able to build that kind of a chemistry, and which is kind of an odd dynamic, to be honest with you. I mean, so given the fact that you've got the best backfield in the NFL, I don't care what anybody says about Cleveland. Yin's got the best backfield in the NFL, period, bar none. You got Mack, you got JT, you got Hines. Forget about it. That's done deal. So why not go with the kid? Why not just utilize him? Get him out there. Get him some reps. Get him some experience. Get him in the game. Build his confidence up. Get him to where he actually has the ability to actually do what they drafted him to do.
Exactly. If you don't give him this opportunity, then why were you drafting a quarterback fourth round 2 years ago. I mean, and I think that's exactly what Chris Ballard's mentality is going to be with this. I hope. You know, what I mean,
Well, but your organization's been based on consistency and training up the young kids, making them stars when they're Joe Schmoes, nobodies. You know, your team, I assume, based on your track record, is gonna stay the course, not freak out, not try to grab some random dude from another team. I think consistency is going to be the way your organization is going to go.
I think a lot of fans are worried that we're going to have another 2017, and they're afraid that Eason's going to walk out there and look like Scott Tolzien. Okay? But that's not going to happen because Scott Tolzien was a veteran when we brought him in from Green Bay, right? This is a guy who came in, has been working with Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, Frank Reich, Marcus Brady, all these guys, all last year.
Case
and then
Cookus.
He's got, yeah.
Case Cookus.
Yeah, and he's been working with these guys, and I'm sorry, Eason's got 10 miles worth of better arm talent than Scott Tolzien has ever seen in his life.
Height. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I don't see an issue here. It's just stupid how some fans are just like, they're actually out there saying, go get Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. I have seen that over and over and over. I'm like, Colin Kaepernick hasn't played a snap of football since the Jacksonville Jaguars made it to the AFC Championship and were a good team. Hey, think about that.
We grabbed Cam Newton when he didn't play for a year, like almost a year and a half. Like nothing, no game time whatsoever for a year and a half. And then people were expecting him to come to New England and go like undefeated. And when he didn't go undefeated, they wanted to burn his house down.
Right. Exactly. And I'm not even getting into the political issue with Colin Kaepernick. I'm just saying the man hasn't played in forever. He's had opportunities. Yeah. He's had teams call him. I don't care what you want to say. Seattle called and said, hey, you want to come in, do a tryout? I remember them doing that, and he turned it down. Okay? The man don't want to play football. He wants to get paid and get some advertisement for himself. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, let's be honest. Ballard's not the type that chases the circus, So
no.
So, yeah, I mean, I gotta believe that Ballard's probably at home tonight going, man, can I catch a break?
Well, yeah, just rename, the Lucas Oil Field freaking Barnum Bailey's Arena. They're probably actually going to do that in Jacksonville this year with Tebow. Anyway.
But I'll tell you what, I would like to say one thing, and Coach Reich, if you ever hear this or whatever, there is no better coach in the NFL than Frank Reich to be dealing with this drama around the quarterback, all these diverse, I mean, because you sit there and you see Carson Wentz and Sam Ellinger. I mean, I'm watching all these guys, and there is not a single one of them that has, they don't all, there's not a duplicate copy, okay?
Yeah,
all
they're
four
all
of them, all five of them have different attributes. And the fact that Coach Reich can sit there and work these guys and see these guys and control now that he was out there today, and like I said, control the practice and what type of play calls. Man, I'm telling you right now, Jacob Eason is getting ready to have a crash course, and then if we need him, great. If not, we will somewhere, somehow, while he's under contract, let's know what we got.
One thing Frank Reich has proven over his years with the Indianapolis Colts is you can give him anyone at the quarterback position, he's going to make it work. He's had a different quarterback every year, and he's made it work. And it's not like he's never seen his starting quarterback go down and then have to rely on a backup. He's been the backup, in situations like that and carried it. So he knows how to deal with it and how to work a guy like Eason into the fold, into the situation, and make this something that he can handle, even if Eason is a little nervous, which I don't see it. I see Eason out there with a lot of confidence playing, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, this whole Ellinger's outperforming Easton just drives me crazy. I mean, that's just, I mean, I understand that you see things differently, but the fact that I'm seeing it 180 degrees, it makes me worry about what I'm seeing. So it's like, and then I go out again the next day and I see the same thing. I mean, I understand Ellinger's improving, but he still doesn't have the arm talent. He doesn't have the aware, of just being on the field and where to go with the ball. I don't see it at all that's even a competition.
Right. And my thing with this too is I'm looking at this because I haven't been to the training camps and I haven't actually got to watch Eason take any snaps or how he throws the ball or any of that. I'm thinking of this strictly in terms of at this point as a Colts. I'm a Steelers guy. Okay, I'm a Steelers guy, but I love the Colts. And I've been following them because they're a very interesting team, and I really think what Ballard's doing. I like his approach. I like how he goes about doing business. So my thing with that is how the team is conducting their business, and if you're going to draft the dude, if you're going to spend draft capital, utilize it, or don't, or get something out of it. And that's what he seems to be able to do with developing talent. I'll tell you who another guy who was really good at that was Bill Cowher. He was really good at putting people in their wheelhouse. And they only won one Super Bowl with him, but they got it done. And that formula proved to be, because Ben Roethlisberger was crap when they won that Super Bowl. It was all defense, baby. Defense, Hines Ward, Randall
Defense
L.
wins championships.
I mean, hey, it works.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's how the Patriots survived for 20 years. Defense, defense, defense.
Your Chipotle show up yet?
Not as of yet, no. But, happy life equals happy life.
There you go.
All right, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this. All right. When we got Carson Wentz, would you guys agree that the pressure was more on the offensive line than the defense to perform at their max?
Yes. From my opinion, yes, because your defense is already proven. The offensive line not necessarily is as lauded as, say, your offensive line. I think you guys get a lot of praise for your defense. I don't see it as much for your offensive line. But that's just an outsider's opinion anyways.
I think the offensive line has a lot of praise. I think that there's question marks because of the left tackle. That's the issue. I think last year and the last few years that the offensive line has gained notoriety throughout the NFL as being one of the top 3, top 5 offensive lines in the NFL. But then Anthony Costanzo retires. Eric Fisher's not, he's got that issue on injuries. And she got on live stream TV.
She's sneaky like that.
Yeah. But to me,
sidetracked.
To me, yes, the left tackle's important. But yes, the offensive line is very, very important. It's not just for Eason, it's because it's a new quarterback sitting back there. It doesn't matter who's going to be back there. It's going to be a new quarterback. You got to make sure the offensive line is performing peak, not just at protecting the running back or quarterback, but opening lanes for the running backs to make the job easier for the quarterback, in the long run.
Okay. Joe, did you have anything you want to say?
Well, you guys are doing a great job here. On LO's point though, with that, the only thing that concerns me about that backfield, to be honest, isn't so much Mac coming off that Achilles, because what I've heard is he looks amazing.
Yeah,
and he's just got that panache for finding the open lanes. JT is more of a
Runaway train.
yeah, just off, runaway truck ramp right here. Okay,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, dude, like in the upstate New York where I just came from, they got a runaway truck ramp going down at like a 30% grade. That's what he reminds me of. Here, hit these barrels, hit this gravel. Okay, we
with
hope
an
it
ice
doesn't.
layer of ice on it.
If that first guy don't bring him down, he's gone. That's the
That's
thing.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah,
gets
I
through to the
get you.
second level, I would not want to be the safety trying to tackle that dude. But
No.
if they see him in the game, that's my concern. How's that going to work? So when your quarterback situation isn't settled like we maybe thought it would be early on, that kind of your playbook kind of narrows a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's the only thing that concerns me about the early part of the season here.
That's perfect, because that leads me to my second part of what I was trying to say. Okay, now I feel like our quarterback situation, whether it's Eason or Hunley, I feel like our quarterback situation, no matter who it is now, the pressure has now been put more on our defense, because I feel like no matter what, our offensive ceiling is going to be lower, and our defense is, they're just going to have to keep the points off the board this, at least at the beginning, until Carson gets in and finds his rhythm.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think that no matter what, I think our offense is set back because of this injury with Carson Wentz, because for two reasons. One, Eason's thrust into it. So, he's a guy, basically a redshirt rookie, right, being thrust into playing. And then, that's what you're starting off with. And then when Wentz comes back, he's basically playing with no offseason. Only 2 practice games with no pads on and some throw-arounds that he did when he hosted some guys at his house a few times, and he won't be out there running around throwing the football. So either way, that handoff is not going to be very smooth, between Eason or whoever it is that's quarterbacking. And then when Carson comes back, the handoff's not going to be great, because I won't be expecting Carson Wentz to be playing very high-level football, because he'll be out of football and not playing quarterback for a while. He'd been rehabbing and stuff. So that's a little bit of a worry.
Well, it depends on this invasive surgery. Is going to be a situation where it's just a stitch or two that needs to heal, or is it a situation where they had to open up the whole foot and surgically remove? So, again, like, they're saying the longest possible time so fans don't kill them. That's essentially what's happening. So, again, if I had to put my money down, 4 or 5 weeks, I would say. I think they always give worst case scenario. I think he'll be back by game 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm not going to put a time. Because I see Ballard, I see Wright, and I can see them saying, okay, boom. He's been cleared. Let's say he's been cleared week 1 by the doctors and stuff. I still don't see Carson hitting the field week 1 right out of the gate. I think that he's going to get at least a week, depending on where it falls, maybe even 2 weeks of practice before he actually gets the starting nod.
Or
especially if you got Eason or whoever that's, maybe we started off 1-1 or 2-1.
See, here's the thing. Like I said, Reich said that he was optimistic. Now, Reich's an optimistic person in general. He's always optimistic about everything. He's optimistic that the earth will last until the end of days. But here's the thing. He knows Wentz. He knows the doctors around the area. He got information about it. And he was saying that with the knowledge that he got, he was optimistic it was going to be closer to the 5 weeks rather than the 12 weeks, right? And because of the history of that specific surgery in the area with the doctors that have done it in the past, that is doing this surgery. So that gives me a little bit of, confidence that it'll be closer to 5 than 12. But at the same time, even if it is, that I don't see him starting off right away because he's going to need to get that practice in with these guys and getting that gel down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And feet and hands are so crazy now. I mean, everybody's like, that's a 7. That's a big one. Feet and hands are that way, man. It's just you just never know.
Yeah.
And by
there's
the way,
so many bones and stuff.
Congratulations, guys. Bucky Brooks, NFL analyst, said you guys might have the best defense in the entire NFL.
That's Bucky Brooks.
Bucky Brooks.
Long time.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll take with all the other defense guys. I'll take it. It's a win.
Okay, well, it's something, right?
Just long upon your defense there.
Bozo the Clown said the Indianapolis Colts might have the best defense in the.
He works for NFL.com. I'm just saying, it's a feather in your cap.
Bucky, he's not Bozo, but I mean he has some really interesting takes at times. Okay,
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to draft and stuff like that. That's where I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be a draft analyst, and what in the world are you watching?
I think that's why him and Jeremiah work so well. They sort of even each other out.
Right.
That's that NFL corporate Kool-Aid. The NFL corporate Kool-Aid. Everything's exciting. Everything's great. But I mean, again, you guys very well might have the best defense in the NFL.
See, now we had the 8th best defense in the NFL last year. If you want to go by, the totals of what happened.
Yeah.
We were number 1 through like 6 weeks, but our schedule wasn't exactly, primed to be the best against the best teams in the NFL through the first 6 weeks also. I mean, we were facing guys like, good Lord, Gase, over there in the Jets. So, yeah.
Seeing ghosts.
But at the same time, I mean, we also faced the Ravens, who have arguably one of the best total team run games in the NFL, right? Because of Lamar being there as well. And the Colts held them to 2.3 yards a carry as a team and only 110 yards total. That was a big feather in the cap for the defense. There is some defensive turnover that we had when it comes to both our defensive ends and our middle linebacker. And those are 3 very big, important positions on the defense when it comes to that front 7.
Autry was a big loss, yeah.
Yeah, you had Houston, Autry, and then Anthony Walker Jr., who was basically the defensive coach on the field, So it's a little bit. I'm cautiously optimistic about our defense.
Whenever you lose a guy named Walker Jr., that can't be happy.
Yeah.
Like Texas Ranger,
Yeah.
I would like to say, man, watching these guys out here this last week and change, I am not as concerned about the loss of Danico as I was before.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand it's shorts and stuff, but I am telling you right now, Tyquan Lewis is coming in. He looks leaner. Isaac Rochelle is just, motor-wise, he's, because like for me, Danico, he was always the guy that was like sort of staying base and then cleaning up the sacks. His sacks were clean-up sacks. That's a lot of what I've seen from Rochelle. Is his motor, he's just, I'm telling you right now, our defense isn't going to lose as many sacks as I thought at the beginning of the season with losing Danico.
Yeah. Honey, I'm live right now, so Someone's out at my front door knocking, and my wife don't want to open the door because she don't know who it is. And we don't have one of them peek holes, you know. Right. To me, I'm kind of right there with you, Loyalist, about that pass rush, losing Autry and Houston. I'm not as worried about it because, like you said, Rochelle's looking like a younger Autry, like when we brought him in the first year. And I thought, and that's what I said I thought he would look like, you know, because that's what he reminded me on the All-22 tape. Quiddy's looking like he's, you know, picking up and growing as a player quickly, a lot faster than I thought. And Teray has just been phenomenal when it comes to speed edge rushing off the edge. He seems to just be able to beat anybody coming around the edge like that. I can't wait to see him again firing up stunts with DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
That's going to be scary.
I can't wait to see Teray, but man, he's got to learn how to set the edge before he crashes into the middle.
They
got him again today in practice. I was just like, no.
He reminds you a lot of Dwight Freeney in that aspect of he will give up the run lane to get to the quarterback. You know what I mean? Because Dwight Freeney was like that too. He was a menace to quarterbacks, but ask Ross, you know, as a Patriots fan, that's what they did. They let him come on in and then run it right behind him in the spot that he left. You know, that's how the Patriots beat us, you know, with Dwight Freeney.
And that's where we need Kari. We need Kari to become our Bob Sanders and fill that void whenever he does
have
that.
your offense like a Swiss Army, you know?
Hall of Famer.
What was that?
Bob
Have your
Sanders,
offense.
Hall of Famer.
Oh, sorry.
No, the only thing I wanted to say about that is, you mentioned Bob Sanders, and it just was in my mind. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed about with that Colts defense, and, you know, this is sentimental for me. It's his bias for me. Malik Hooker. He's a Newcastle guy.
Yep.
You know, I played against Newcastle High School when I was a kid. I could have found a use. I know I could have found a use for the guy, but it is what it is.
I think the problem with Malik Hooker is he was drafted to be a single high safety on a team that wasn't even ran by Frank Reich at the time, right? And Frank Reich comes in, Matt Eberflus is here, and they become a 4-3 defense that runs mostly cover 2 and then now starting to kind of roll into that cover 3 a lot more. They don't use single high near as much. So I think, and then plus the injury issues that he's had over the years, I think that just kind of let him go. He's got an opportunity with the Cowboys. He signed with the Cowboys a few days ago.
That makes me sick.
I know. I can only imagine being a Steelers fan at that. But, I mean, he's got an opportunity to shine at least, you know, because the other guys that were also signed for safety over there, they're all coming off of season-ending surgery injuries that they had, you know. So I'll put my money on Malik Hooker over those guys any day, all day.
I gotta ask you, Joe. Give me a one word. What's the word that comes to mind when you think of Antonio Brown?
Jag off. Jag off.
He's done everything to get removed from the league. He's done everything to get removed from the league, and he goes to one team and gets a Super Bowl ring. Isn't the universe completely unfair?
I see. I kind of, I don't know. He reminds me a lot of those early 2000, late 90s wide receivers, the prima donna wide receivers. You get what I'm saying? You remember like the guys like T.O. and
that's exactly the first guy came to my mind.
Ocho Cinco.
Ocho Cinco. All those guys. Yeah. So he kind of reminds me a little bit of his success in Pittsburgh got him a really big head. You know what I mean? Got him thinking that he's the man. And I mean, in Pittsburgh he was, but he needed to settle down because it wasn't, in my opinion, I mean, it's a team sport, and the Steelers win as a team. You know, it wasn't just Antonio Brown out there winning games all the time, right? So, yeah, that was a little bit of a man.
This is one of the only things me and Steelers fans have in common: a mutual dislike of Antonio Brown.
I think his whole world went to crap after the Oakland incident or the Raiders incident, right?
Was there chain snatching in this? Was that what was going on, or am I thinking of someone else?
No, when he threw all these fits about wanting to get out after he said, "Oh, I'll sign and be here."
Yeah.
The helmet.
Yeah.
The helmet. He wanted a special
yeah.
helmet. They wouldn't give it to him. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of a story when I played high school. And we were playing on the road. First game of the year, we were playing against Shenago. And our nose tackle wanted a Dan Marino style face mask. Our nose tackle. Okay. Yeah, coaches gave it to him. Yeah, sure enough, first play from scrimmage, broken nose, blood. I'm on a safety bus. I'm coming off on a safety bus. I'm watching this whole thing. Broken nose, blood everywhere. They get him over there, tape him up, and said, "Here's your backup helmet." It had a crossbar.
Oh yeah.
And he wore it for the rest of the year. I mean, so that's what Antonio Brown reminds me of.
There's a reason they say use this. They're not trying to make your life worse. They're trying to protect you.
I do have a question, Loyalist. We have seen a lot of positive stuff this training camp out of Paris Campbell. He has been the huge surprise to many, not me. I thought Paris Campbell was going to break out this year as long as he stayed healthy. I thought he was just a phenomenal player. But apparently he's showing it in camp. Did he continue to do so today?
Yes, he did. But like I said, a lot of the short passes, I mean, he didn't really have a lot of attempts going his way today. But I'm glad you brought that up because somebody that just jumped off today, and that was Michael Strong. And you know I've been sort of downplaying that. Today, I'll tell you right now, this kid runs routes like he's a daggone running back. Every step has just so much purpose. And he's 6'17"? I mean, he's like, you know, I mean, this guy, he just runs like he's 6'1" on these routes. And like he doesn't drop a whole lot of them. You know what I mean? He's got decent jumping, and like I said, the wingspan. Yes, I'm sorry. I know you asked about Paris, and like I said, he did really flash.
That's fine.
But man, Michael Strom just really, and you know, I mean, Desmond Patman did a little bit today, but man, Strom was he was every chance he had today except for one. He maximized.
That's good. That's good. I like to hear good things coming from the wide receivers on a team that apparently doesn't have a number one wide receiver on it. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody, Colts don't have a number one. It's got like the Patriots. The Patriots don't have a number one wide receiver, right? But
give me 4 number 2s. I'll be fine.
I am the same way. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, here's the thing. But my only concern when I look at that kid is 2019, 2020, injured reserve. Is this just something that's been like a little plaguing thing that goes out for a couple of games, comes back? Or is this like he'll play 6 games and then all of a sudden he'll be out the rest of the season?
Okay, so
what kind of kid are we talking about?
His rookie year, Paris Campbell had the issue of he was getting little dinky dunk injuries every other game, right? Like he got it. Yeah, something like that. His rookie year. That's what happened with him. And then last year, it was a freak play that happened. He caught this ball and end around, came up the side after a big play. Safety was coming down on him. He stopped, tried to jump out the way, but his foot got caught in the grass, and the shoulder went right into the knee, and it was an MCL PCL tear. And it's a freak thing. It's something that, you can't, there's nothing you could do about that, right?
Hey, God bless it wasn't a Dak Prescott injury.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So, a lot of that was asked about Paris as well in an interview with him, and they said, is there anything that you could have done to prevent it? And he said, at first I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and I finally came to the conclusion there was nothing I can do about it. Keep it out of my head and just play, and that's what he's, and apparently he's doing that, and it's paying off because he looks absolutely fantastic from what I've seen. I said that I thought that he would lead the Colts in receiving yards this year. I didn't say touchdowns or targets or receptions, but because of his yards after catch ability, I think he'll lead the team.
Blue collar receiver, like an Edelman type.
Yeah,
the type of guy who's going to make yardage but not necessarily get you in the end zone.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be really dangerous between the 20s. That's what I see. Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Joe?
On that, it kind of reminds me, to be honest with you, watching the guy kind of reminds me of Danny Amendola.
Ooh.
To be honest with you.
I like that.
And, Danny Amendola, he got cut by the Dolphins right off the rip out of the draft. And he's floated around the league for years and years and years. Ended up catching a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So
you never know what someone's going to do.
Yeah. So, like your comment about give me 4 number 2s, that's kind of how I try to go about doing things. I don't need Antonio Brown. I don't need all that.
Godwin.
Don't tell me you don't have incredible hopes for Chase Claypool. I mean, come on. The man's a beast out there.
Chase Claypool, I like him. I don't need Le'Veon Bell. Okay, I will say I can't really blame the guy for going to smoke a blunt in the car with a guy named Blunt up by. I get it. Okay, whatever. But he was
his sweet rap album.
Yeah,
off the charts.
God, I get it. But come on, let's play some football here.
Yeah, let's get our nose to the grindstone.
Who's going to lead the Steelers in receiving this year?
Ooh.
I tell you what, if Johnson can hold on to the damn ball and quit dropping balls, I would put him up there.
He's fast.
And touchdowns. That guy is
dude's fast.
Freak.
Yeah.
But he keeps dropping balls.
Yes,
I don't know
does.
if that had more to do with the fact that he's got stone hands, or if it had more to do with Roethlisberger's elbow last year.
What's your thoughts on him? Is he soon to be wearing a jacket on the sidelines?
I don't even know if they're going to give him that much. I don't personally. For me, I would have never given him that extension. In a couple years. I would have drafted Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
With that pick.
Yes. With your steel curtain. Yeah.
Hey, screw it. We got Bell. We got all these other people. They still had Bell on the roster at that point.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done something. Dude, that would have been a nightmare. Freaking
look who was
nightmare.
left on the board on draft night. Again, there were some solid quarterbacks when you guys were picking, and it's just like, I guess it's a non-issue. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that new kid they got, Fryermouth. Or not, it's Fryermuth. No, it's Fryermouth. You're from Pittsburgh. It's Fryermouth. He might be all right. He might be all right too. But Claypool, I mean, they've got a good young wide receiver core. And now with Harris back there, my concern is, DeCastro's gone. Villanueva's gone.
To be fair, Villanueva was a shell of himself last year.
Yeah.
What was that due to? Was that injury based or just time catching up?
It was, well, I mean, a lot of both, and it was all that because all those guys got old, and they Pittsburgh done themselves in by giving Roethlisberger a big contract and then paying all these skill players and dealing with all these skill players and investing so much draft capital into all these high, flashy, big shot skill players that Now they're behind the 8 ball. Now we got to go back to the, we got to go back to the farm and recruit, Billy Bob Joe's cousin to come play offensive line for us. I mean, come on. That's where they're at right now.
It's sad because, like, again, there was plenty of guys you could have brought up from the farm league, but you didn't develop them. You're putting them right in. So it's like there's going to be some severe growing pains.
How's your phone battery there, Loyalist?
That's the beauty about doing it this way. I can plug that baby up right before it ever gets
The height of technology.
There you go.
Hey, I had some questions for you guys. I had some news stories pop up, and I wanted to get your opinions on it.
Sure.
Some breaking news.
Breaking news.
So the funniest one for me, personally, because I got a lot of friends who are Bills Mafia. Austin emerges as possible relocation spot for the Bills amid New Orchard Park Stadium negotiations. Did anyone else laugh at this, or is it just me?
I believe a lot of us did. I know Pat did. Pat McAfee.
That's the dumbest thing I have seen. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Could you imagine
Wow.
Bills Mafia in Texas?
You can play at the Carrier Dome down there in Syracuse.
Well, the thing is they can't use LA as a threat anymore. LA already has too many teams. It used to be every team be like, we'll move to LA.
No,
Orange County,
LA's a little full
California.
now.
Bills ain't moving out of Buffalo. I mean, they're a
They want
fan
a
base.
taxpayer-paid stadium.
Yeah,
They're not willing to budge.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, they're going to find a way because Bills fans will not put up with it. They're a very loyal fan base. I mean,
Yes.
anyone who's going to sit through a blizzard to watch a football game, you know what I mean? And have the stadium full in a blizzard during a football game, they're going to have a say-so on where they're going to be.
And they're wearing hard hats while they're doing it. Like, bring it on.
Yeah, right. And no shirt on, and painted belly and everything,
Let's be honest. The table manufacturers in Buffalo won't allow it.
You're right. That's right.
With
The
the
folding table manufacturers, yeah. They make more money off of Buffalo fans than they do the WWE.
I just saw every Buffaloes fan have a meltdown on every social media app there is, just losing their mind. It was magic. It was magic.
And let's don't kid ourselves. It's not a coincidence that it's happened after 2 years of making the playoffs that this is now a thing.
Yeah. Now they can sell for a high price point.
So what's another one, man?
Oh, what were you saying, Jeff? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, and they make money off the weed dealers coming over from Niagara Falls. I mean, pretty much the economy of that entire city right now.
But look how Chargers fans reacted. They were burning their jerseys in front of the stadium. Could you imagine the riots in Buffalo if they decided to sell that team? There will be no fans.
That'd be awful. I wouldn't want to be 3 states over, man. Oh, wait, I am 3 states over. Crap.
But you know what? Any team that's been around and has built a story. I mean, the Colts have been around long enough now here in Indy that you're starting to see generational loyalties and stuff. And I mean, this is a real thing. My son, we go to training camp and stuff, and just being around the people and seeing, all the other kids. I mean, like I was telling Lawrence earlier, some of these young guys they're coming up and they know more about football at the age of 10 than I did when I was 25.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a similar reaction if they're like, well, we're going to move the Steelers to Mexico City, right? I mean...
No, not on the other side of the wall.
See how that works. tell you right now. See how that works. Yeah, you just can have the Raiders. Okay, take that down there. All right, we're done with that. See how that works. Nobody would pay taxes in that town for the next 50 years.
I bet, man. I mean, when an organization has been sitting around a city for as long as they have, for certain, in the NFL, and have the fan base that they have, where you're known for the fan base, like a Pittsburgh, like
My
Green
God,
Bay,
yes.
and stuff like that. And you try to move them, like if you tried to move the Bears out of Chicago, that would be an awful situation to have to be in if you were, in that situation, because that would be an awful thing. And I mean, like, the Raiders, they move every other year, so I don't think it was really much of a big deal.
Okay. Well, my point with that was, okay, now, so going back to this whole circus in Jacksonville, you know how they were slated to play 2 games, home games, over in London this past year in 2020. I'm like, see how that works in Pittsburgh. You're going to ask people to pay for season tickets in the city of Pittsburgh, and you're telling them that 2 of them games, you got to go to London to watch them. Well, what? Excuse me? No.
Right.
No. They're going to be right down there on north side. Now, what are we doing here? No, you try that in the city of Pittsburgh, and it ain't going to work out.
The only reason it works in Jacksonville is because they're the newest team in the NFL, and there's a few less fans to piss off, I think.
And they're also named Jags. They're also named Jags. So I mean, that's.
And it doesn't hurt the fact that they haven't had too many winning seasons on top of it.
Yeah.
There are literally guys already with flowcharts to say which division they would go to and what team would come into our division in the AFC, and it is absolutely hilarious. There's guys with like flowcharts already, like Jacksonville is going to be in the AFC, and then the Bills are going to switch with them. So it's just like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, when the whole new divisional thing shakeup happened, what was it, 2002, 2001, somewhere around in there?
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts, they were AFC East, and then got moved to the South. So, but that really, and that's just about the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life, right? I mean, how is the Colts South? Indy. It's Indy. Even when they were in Baltimore, you couldn't put them in South.
But I'm a dumb Boston kid. I thought you were South for the longest time until I actually looked at a map, and then I felt how stupid I was.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they've never been able to get that right because, I mean, how long when St. Louis Cardinals moved out to Arizona, Phoenix, they were still playing in the East against the Cowboys. Like, how much further west do you need these guys to go until you figure it out? You know what I mean?
Common sense does not dictate.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Was Goodell in charge at that point?
No, I think
no, because then there would have been an overreaction, just like with the pass interference calls.
Yes. Or hey, what's in your favor? You don't complain too much,
Oh my God.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man.
All right. So
can I tell you one quote to make you guys laugh before we go?
What's up?
This is a quote from Kyle Shanahan today, the other day. Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo at his best could beat out any rookie QB. Is that an insult or is that a compliment?
At his best, could beat out a rookie.
That is the worst compliment I've ever heard.
That's a passive aggressive.
Oh my goodness! That's like saying Tom Brady at his best is a better quarterback than Giselle.
Oh no, I'll tell you what. That's him trying to get some trade capital out of old Jimmy G there.
Oh, because at his best, he's better than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, he's better. Oh, he'll beat any of these guys. And that's him.
There you go.
Anybody's got a quarterback problem. Oh, he'll beat any of these guys. You know, give me a first than a second rounder for this dude. That's
So-
what he's doing with that.
So why isn't Jimmy Garoppolo starting for the Niners and it's instead of the rookie Trey Lance?
Well, because they had what, the third pick.
But I mean, with Shanahan's
We're not gonna talk about
compliment
that,
there.
Don't talk.
The backhanded compliment.
With the way he's saying, he should be trading Trey Lance instead because Garoppolo, yeah, his best is better than Trey Lance.
Oh, there's just so much depth to that statement. It's so funny because there is a group of people in New England who thinks Garoppolo is still the hope of New England. And it's just the ship has sailed, guys. It's time to give up on that. You know, we're in a rebuild. Let's understand that for the next couple of years, we're not going to be relevant for a little bit. Just understand it. We're rebuilding.
You know what would be hilarious? You know what would be hilarious, dude?
Yeah.
If Green Bay traded fucking Aaron Rodgers
Love.
to San Francisco for
Oh,
the kid
no.
they just drafted.
No.
Mhm. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No.
We're an hour and a half into this, dude. The curse is fine.
We were 2 hours the other night.
Sorry.
Yeah, we went 2 hours. But I've always thought, I mean, they obviously don't. Green Bay don't have that much, high respect for Jordan Love and what he can do because they're bending over backwards to keep Rodgers, and so that tells me that they're not necessarily liking what they're seeing from Love.
But now, does that really say that, or are they doing this to try to keep their fan base? Because I mean, if they messed up this Aaron Rodgers, yes, but if they mess up this Aaron Rodgers thing after the whole Brett Favre fiasco, which I understand Favre made that escalate a little bit more than Rodgers is, and I mean, and then the way that Gutekunst has handled all this, I mean. They've got a fan base that needs cemented, and because I mean, you watch these guys and you listen to these guys on social media platforms, and I mean, it's almost as bad as we were whenever we were talking about don't draft a tackle, draft a line, the end. I mean,
they burnt Aaron Rodgers way before Gutekunst ever came around. It's a management thing. They have not got him a wide receiver. They have an MVP quarterback they had. At least MVP caliber. He's won a few times. They have not got him a first-round wide receiver in that whole time. Like, again, there is a joke running that every year they will never pick a wide receiver or a offensive threat anyways.
Aaron Rodgers comes out and makes this big old statement about this is why I'm not happy with him. I asked them to keep this person or this person or this person. They treat the veterans poorly. They don't take into my consideration. Blah blah blah. I asked for help. Blah blah blah. And then what do? They go and get they're like, oh, we'll do exactly what you asked us to. Randall Cobb. Yes, we'll bring Randall Cobb back. In his, crutches and wheelchair and
I read that.
And I'm like, really? You think that's him being there is probably nice for the young guys? I'll give him
Can
that.
you believe there were 2 players away maybe from getting the Super Bowl? I think there were two players away, maybe.
Last year, man, Green Bay was on fire with the way Aaron Rodgers was playing last year. If they had just done anything that Rodgers was asking for, get me anybody, to go at Devontae Adams, then I think they would have been in the Super Bowl.
Joe, what's your viewpoint on that? What's your take?
Maybe next year Green Bay will be playing bingo in the locker room on Monday nights. I don't know. I mean,
if there was one team out there, I think that would have benefited more than the Titans in getting Julio, it would have been Green Bay.
I was not sold on Julio, man. I just don't believe, and this is the thing about this that really bothers me. when you start talking about how you divvy up the money and how you pay people, it's this whole conversation of like, oh well, don't pay a running back. Well, oh no, don't pay a running back. They're out of the league by the time they're 30 anyway. Well, look at what Derrick Henry's been doing. Why not give the guy a bone? You know, oh well, he's gonna be done by the time he's 30. Well, what? I don't want to overpay for a running back. I don't. So the Steelers got crucified, and I actually had Najee Harris as my number one pick this year in my mock draft. I had him. No, I'm getting that dude.
Okay.
Well, I did hear that Julio has good prices.
Yeah, I mean, he's at that age where it's like, okay, look, bro,
One play
you've been
away.
in Atlanta your whole career. You're one play away from retiring. You know what I mean? Like, and so, this is where the business side of things just really screws up your enjoyment of the sport. You know,
I was just looking at the Julio thing to Green Bay because I didn't expect Aaron to be there for a year, maybe two, and that's it. Julio would still have an elite Julio most likely for a year, maybe two. You know, to go with an elite Devontae Adams, that would be a scary situation. They would have a legitimate shot at a Super Bowl for the next 2 years. And then after that, it's a rebuild. You know, it's basically what the Patriots did long term for a short term thing for Green Bay. You know.
Okay, but my thing with that is taking a guy, and you're looking, if you look at players as players, and if you look at players in terms of like their combine, how they perform in practice, how they perform in drills, you know, you want to draft an offensive lineman that's got a good short shuttle time, all that good stuff, whatever. But you're taking Julio Jones out of the environment of Atlanta and wanting him to go to Green Bay and develop a chemistry with freaking Aaron Rodgers, who would rather be hosting Jeopardy at this point. So how the hell's that going to happen? Then you got two alpha males in the same room who just are like, you know what, I'm about done with this crap. And
I don't know.
If
If anything that I have noticed from Aaron Rodgers throughout this entire offseason, I think he's a player's guy. You know what I mean?
that I will give.
I think he has the respect of the players around him and all of that, and he's always looking out for the interests of the guys around him. I don't have an issue with that. It's the whole, you know, it's only a short time, and I get that, you know, you're giving up a first round pick that could be somebody, you know, that could be a good player for the next 10 years as opposed to a shot, you know, for a Super Bowl in the next two, you know. So it's kind of give or take. How badly do you want that shot at the Super Bowl? How close do you think you really are?
Well,
you know,
that's a problem we run into New England all the time. Everyone wants to start Mac Jones day one. Don't want to even give him a chance to develop. They don't want to even give him a season off. They want him to go straight in and start throwing. That's like half our Patriots population. Like, just like, it's there's something to be said for chemistry and timing, you know. And you know, look at Joe Burrows. Look at the kid from the Jets who was seeing ghosts. You know, season 2. You know, it's just, it's just, you know, it's just so short-sighted. Some people, when they look at the NFL, they need to think 4 years down the line, not this season right now. You know.
So I've got a question.
Sorry. Go ahead, Loyalist. No,
okay, do you think that your split in your fan base is like maybe the people that remember the pre-Parcells, Belichick era?
No.
It's not like that at all.
No, it's Brady. It's Brady. There's a half a population that believes Brady was the one true God, and that he created the system that we currently have today, and Belichick is just a withered old fart who knows nothing about football and is the worst drafter the NFL's ever seen. That's direct quotes.
How do you
There are guys on YouTube right now that I won't name that are connected to us that I won't talk about, but they legitimately think Cam is so bad they're willing to put in a rookie, and they think Belichick should be fired.
Will
just-
Yep, I know.
How do you win that many Super Bowls? Okay, and
It's a
sit
team
there
sport.
and feel like do what?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
in a 20-year span.
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I've been a
certain-
fan since '86, and I have never seen a fan base more disrespectful and entitled in my entire life. I lived through the Grogan days. I lived through the days when we were going through coaches like it was change. No one wanted the Patriots. They were a joke team for the longest time. We didn't even have our own stadium at one point.
Mhm.
You know, like
Sullivan era. Yeah,
we had
I
Doug
remember that.
Flutie. Yeah, and we had
Yeah.
Doug Flutie for a season, and then he crumbled. You know, it
I-
takes long-term thought for a franchise, and that's what Belichick, Kraft, and these guys brought. Brady, again, great part of it, a great mind, but he was part of a team. Team wins games and championships, not individuals. And I like what you said about Julio Jones. Julio Jones, the concern is always when you bring in high-priced talent like that, are they going to be the ones saying, well, I'm high-priced talent, I deserve the ball, or, you know, what about all these other guys that work their ass off? Like, they're not worth $10 million? Like, that's an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, it's probably a conversation for the next time we do this because
Yeah.
we've been here for a minute. But I appreciate you guys being here, man. It's been like an hour 45.
I like talking to you
pushing
guys.
that.
It's fun.
Yeah, this is really cool, man. We'll have to
Yeah,
do
I'm
this
glad-
again.
Joe, it's great to meet you, by
Thank
the
you
way.
very much. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. It's great
Yeah.
to be
Nice
here.
meeting you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
You,
Yep.
all of you as well.
I will probably do this again Wednesday because I'm going to camp on Wednesday. So,
Sweet.
Loyalist went today, and I'll go Wednesday, and then he can't go Wednesday, so I'll be by myself. But we'll do this again, and we'll see how it works out. I'm hoping that if I do this more often, that more people will join my Patreon. That way they can get into the live and won't be a day late watching it, and have the opportunity to do what you
Yeah.
guys are doing, jump in, join, chat, give your guys' thoughts, stuff like that. I think this is a really cool thing that, I kind of took this off of Ray, but at the same time, my own little twist, So,
Yeah.
whereas I'm letting my Patreons go public, the next day. It's more of early access rather than, just Patreon only. So,
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
other football nerds.
Yeah, but at the same time, then who's got the balls to join the show? You know what I mean? The only reason I didn't have set up because I couldn't find my damn camera. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the middle of where the hell?
Well, I mean, even if you
Right.
don't join, at least like Matt Stansberry was in the chat for the majority of the stream. So, there was what was it, Saturdays? We had 5 or 6 people in the chat, which was amazing considering I only had like 10 people in my Patreon, but I had like 6 people in the chat, which is really cool. It made me feel good about the guys that actually follow and pay attention to my stream, So I appreciate you guys a lot coming in
Absolutely.
and joining. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's the thing.
go ahead, Will.
Oh, that's the thing about Law. I mean, this channel that and this community that he's built and stuff. He's got a lot of intelligent and respectful people that they know. Don't come in here. Don't start being toxic and everything. If you've got an opinion, you can be heard. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to sit there and tell you you're wrong. They're going to try to discuss it with you, but they aren't going to tell you you're wrong or berate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They might disagree with you. I've noticed there's disagreements, but it don't get toxic, and that's the good thing, So I really appreciate the respect that everybody gives everybody else and on their opinions and stuff. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And for all of you guys, I mean, you guys are great. I mean, you're all real football guys, and you all talk real. There's no hyperbole. There's no BS. There's no conjecture. There's no. none of this crap. You're a football fan. I mean, I know I played. I know LO played. I mean, and you just want. We're like the purest form of fanhood that you can possibly get, and
Sorry.
it's just there you go, right?
Oh,
Andrew
you are
Luck.
not right.
Oh my
I
god!
seen that over a month and
But
a half ago.
it's great. This is a great.
I can't get the whole thing in the picture. I'm sorry. What did
Oh my
comedic
god!
effect?
But no, this is a great platform, LO, and I really do appreciate you bringing me on here.
Yeah, where can we
I will
find
do
it?
anything I can to support this platform and what you're doing here. I mean, for guys like Loyalist and for guys like Ross, because I mean they're the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fantastic what you're doing here, and you got me. You had me at hello, dude.
All
Like
right.
most of us.
Well, I'll tell you what.
No, all right.
I know I caught a few people with my signature exit, because I really mean it when I say it. I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Loyalist. We got Joe down here. We got Ross over here. And until next time, as usual, have a good one.
Peace out.